Hello, and welcome to this week's lesson. I'm Kieran, and I will be taking you through the 6 words found on this week's social media, which contain popular English words and phrases. We look at words and phrases from everyday life here in the UK, help you pronounce them, provide an easy to understand definition, and give you a clear example of how you could use it in real life. Anyway, let's get started with our first word this week. Hello, and welcome to this week's lesson. We have 6 more words and phrases for you this week, so let's get started now so we can get through them as soon as possible. So let's look at the first word this week, and that is potential. So what is the definition of potential? Let's have a look. So this is someone or a group of people who have the chance to become brilliant at what they do. They could become famous. So there's the definition of potential. And now let's move on to an explanation and an example. The band was so good and loved by their fans that journalists believed they had the potential to be very famous and successful. The second word we have for you this week is another summary word, and this word is suntan lotion. That's a strange word, but what does it mean exactly? Let's have a look with the definition. This is a special cream which is rubbed onto the skin to prevent sunburn. This is required during the summer when outdoors. That's a great definition, and let's give it some context by looking at an example. The friends decided to stay on the beach for several hours. They took their suntan lotion to stop them from getting sunburn on their skin. The next phrase we look at in this lesson is that of sightseeing. So this sounds a very exciting phrase to use in the English language. But when do we use it and why? Well, let's first of all look at the definition. So this is when people go to see famous and or popular buildings and attractions. Capital cities are famous for sightseeing. So that is an insightful definition about sightseeing. So let's learn further by looking at an example. The couple went sightseeing in the capital city. They wanted to visit many famous and historical buildings. They took many photos while sightseeing. So let's now move on to the fourth word in this week's lesson. So this one is a very watery activity that we also do in the summer. And this one is canoeing. So what does canoeing mean? Well, let's look at the definition to find out. This is the activity of sailing in a light and thin boat. Users have paddles to help them sail faster or to change direction. So there's the definition, and we learned a lot from that. And now let's move on to the example to fully understand canoeing. The family decided to go on a canoeing day in the lake by the forest. The water was calm, so it was an enjoyable day on the lakes. So now it's time to take a look at the penultimate word in this week's lesson. And this one is trunks. So this is another summary word of something we use by the sea or on holiday. So let's have a look at the definition to learn even more about trunks. These are men's shorts. They are usually worn when going to the beach or when swimming either in a pool or the sea. So that's an interesting insight into when we wear trunks. So let's learn even more by having a look at an example. The boy wore his trunks when he went to the beach. He could not decide whether or not to go swimming in the calm sea. So now we move on to the final word for this week's lesson. And that is an exciting and an enjoyable one. So this one is recreation. So what do we do when we're doing recreation? Well, let's look at the definition. This is an activity done by an individual or group for the purpose of fun or entertainment. Having fun is the main part of recreation. So that's a great definition there. And now let's move on to the example to learn more. The friends decided to go and play volleyball at the beach. To do this, they needed to pay each hour for this fun beach recreation. Thank you for taking part in this week's lesson. We really appreciate your company. We will be back with more lessons each week to provide you with the most important English words and phrases. Why not check out our website and find out how you can further improve your English with our online self-study courses? We have a free 2-week trial so you can learn exactly how to use our course by the time the trial ends. Feel free to check out our social media feeds to keep up with the latest news. Anyway, thanks for joining us again, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye!